Curiosity is one of humanity's great joys. It is also their common downfall. Remember to be wary. Do not run your hands along the trunks of trees to feel the textures of the moss and bark. Do not investigate the silent clearings. Do not allow the intrusive thoughts to direct you towards any unmoving animals, seemingly untouched by decay. Do not go closer. Be curious from afar. Do not touch the moss. I've had this monster idea for almost a decade now. It was called the Moss Monster, which is definitely going to change. The idea that I had was of a small field of moss in a forest, littered with bones. Which didn't really make sense because it didn't eat things, so why the bones? I don't know, aesthetic. Within that moss was a magical process that, when activated through touch, swapped the mind within the moss monster with the mind of the thing that came into contact with it. The mind within the moss wasn't the monster itself, but the previous victim. So the moss wasn't a living thing at all, but a magical trap that swapped minds upon contact. The current mind would then be stuck in the moss, forced to wait until the next unsuspecting living thing walked into it, human or animal. And the previous victim could then finally run the heck away in their new body. The interesting thing there was that it didn't matter what kind of mind was being forced into the body, a human mind into a deer, or a deer's mind into a human one. Better for a human to live out the rest of its short squirrel life than to be stuck in the moss forever, right? And that was it. Before the change in lore, it was one mind in, one mind out, a simple swap. That was all I had for the Moss Monster. I didn't really elaborate over the years, just had the concept bouncing around in my head like a screensaver every once in a while. I knew that it was within my world in some way, but it just hadn't been integrated yet. And it took a while after deciding to start working on it again that I figured out how it would work. It's not the same anymore, no longer a mindless force, now truly a living monster. So let's learn about this new Moss Monster. The Moss Mind. The people of Allowain didn't understand what the Moss Mind was, even as they were affected by it. It's not that common, and the uncommon phenomenon of the Numerian worlds are hard to define, especially when anyone who has discovered them has had their minds stolen. But given enough time, even the rare and unknown can be defined, especially where life is concerned. The Moss Mind has only a small point of contact with the physical world. The bulk of its workings are numinous processes inside the mind fields. If any living thing with a mind touches that point of contact, it will have its consciousness stolen for consumption. This can have 3 different outcomes. The body will either collapse and eventually die, enter a mindless state and wander around simply on instinct, or it could have another mind shoved into it as a trade. A trade is only done if the Moss Mind has too much food already within it and needs to save space or make room. The Moss Mind has a limited capacity, and this is actually a danger for them. This is because they don't have control over the process of absorbing minds. If they are touched, they absorb the mind whether they're filled to capacity or not. So they have a method to expel the excess, shoving one of their stored minds into the victim they just stole from. The Moss Mind has tastes. The more complex, the better, so smaller, simpler minds are expelled first. But they will also get rid of minds that they've already partially or mostly eaten to make room for fresh ones of the same kind. Partially eaten minds that regain a body will be confused, erratic, and suffer from memory loss. Mostly eaten minds are often comatose, but if they are capable of thought, it is often broken fragments of brief consciousness. The Moss Mind has a limited ability to move around. It is slow and requires a large amount of energy to move even a few feet, but they do have the ability to extend their influence depending on their own age and size. When a Moss Mind is empty or not in any danger of breaching capacity, they may employ a bait strategy to lure in more prey. They will leave the body of a previous victim outside of their influence and wait for scavengers to move in. Once enough prey has gathered, they will reach out their influence and capture all at once. Once they reach capacity, they will move away from their lure so as to not accidentally take in more than they can handle. A Moss Mind does not have any instincts for procreation, but they do proliferate, just not on purpose. It happens when they hit their capacity and burst into multiple pieces. Each piece is a new, smaller moss mind. The original moss mind no longer exists, so in a way it is a death for one and the birth of more. Now, how do you protect yourself from a moss mind? As mentioned earlier, the moss mind is an uncommon thing, but even the rare can be dangerous to anyone given enough time. Even the smallest statistics still mean a terrible death for those few. Only those with an affinity for mind numeria can see the mind fields, and in this way see the moss mind and avoid it. Those skilled in mind numeria can deal with moss minds, and do so by draining the energy of the monster until there is nothing left. But miss even a sliver and they may return to their power in time. The minds within can be rescued, but often there is little to be done for them. The ethics of replacing a body is a widely debated topic that would take far too long to explain here. But the inventors of Catharoa have found methods for creating artificial bodies for such displaced minds. For now, that is all I have for the moss mind. If you have any ideas for a better name for them, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to do the thing you love in the way it pleases you, and not the way others insist it should be done.